Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 32, Entanglement and Fruitive Activities, text number 16 onwards. Ye tva iha sakta manasa karmasu shadhyanvita kurvanti aprati siddhani nityanyapi cha kritsnashaha. Persons who are too addicted to this material world execute their prescribed duties very nicely and with great faith. They daily perform all such prescribed duties which are with attachment to the fruitive result. In this and the following 6 verses, the Srimad Bhagavatam criticizes persons who are too materially attached. It is enjoined in the Vedic scriptures that those who are attached to the enjoyment of material facilities have to sacrifice and undergo certain ritualistic performances. They have to observe certain rules and regulations in their daily lives to be elevated to the heavenly planets. It is stated in this verse that such persons cannot be liberated at any time. Those who worship demigods with the consciousness that each and every demigod is a separate god cannot be elevated to the spiritual world. What to speak of persons who are simply attached to duties for the upliftment of their material condition? So again, Lord Kapil Dev is talking about different kind of people. Those who do karma kandi, then the karma yogis, and the hat yogis, gyan yogis, and the devotees. So here, Prabhupada says, following 6 verses, Lord Kapil Dev will talk about persons who are too materially attached. And even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that this karma kandi, the Vedas have this flowery language. So do not follow the Vedas, which are flowery language. Don't get attracted by the flowery language of the Vedas. Just do your duty properly without attachment. But here, people who study this flowery language is what? Means you do this and you will enjoy this. You do this karma kand, you do this ritual, you do this yajna, you do this tapasya, this charity, and then you will enjoy in the Swargaloka, heavenly planet. Rajasa kuntha manasa kamatmano ajitendriya pitrin yajanti anudinam griheshva viratashaya. Such persons, impelled by the mode of passion, are full of anxieties and always aspire for sense gratification due to uncontrolled senses. They worship the forefathers and are busy day and night improving the economic condition of the family, social, or national life. They worship the forefathers and are busy day and night improving the economic condition of the family, social, or national life. And this is what goes on in the 99% of the world. This is what they are doing. Everybody is working on. And working on something which is temporary, which is working on something which is not going to be there. Then we're going to lose it, whether it is a family economic condition, social or national economic condition. It's not going to last forever. And we work so hard for it. Even in this lockdown time, people are dying to get out, to die again, obviously. But they're dying to get out to work hard for the economic condition because they just cannot sit at home and chant. Travargi kaste purusha vimukha harimedasa kathayam kathaniyo ur vikramasya madhudvishaha. Such persons are called Traivargika because they're interested in 3 elevating processes. They are averse to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can give relief to the conditioned soul. They are not interested in the Supreme Personality's pastimes, which are worth hearing because of its transcendental promise. So Trivargika, three elevating processes are what? That's what Prabhupada explains. According to Vedic thought, there are four elevating principles, namely religiosity, economic development, sanskarification, and liberation. So dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Persons who are simply interested in material enjoyment make plans to execute prescribed duties. They are interested in the three elevating processes of religious rituals, economic elevation, and sense enjoyment. I mean, they're only interested in dharma, artha, and kama. By developing the economic condition, they can enjoy material life. Materialistic persons, therefore, are interested in those elevating processes, which are called Trivargika. Tri means three, Vargika means elevating processes. Such materialistic persons are never attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are antagonistic towards Him. So those who are just busy, dharma, artha, and kama. Dharma for them, dharma is not even going to the temple. Their dharma is just going to the office and working hard. That's all their dharma is. That's all they think there's a prescribed duty. Karma hi jivan hai. And this is what they believe in. Like in the emergency time, 1975, when there was a slogan, "Baatein kam, kaam zyada," right? That was a slogan on every table in the government office. It's work, work, work. That's it. But that's an donkey's life actually. He works very hard without really trying to understand who am I, why I'm here, where did I come from, where am I going from here, what is my destination. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is here described as Harimedha, or he who can deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. Materialistic persons are never interested in hearing about the marvelous pastimes of the Lord. They think that they are fictions and stories, and the Supreme Godhead is also a man of material nature. They are not fit for advancing in devotion, service, or Krishna consciousness. Such materialistic persons are interested in newspaper stories, novels, and imaginary dramas. So imaginary dramas are what? Movies. Movies are only imaginary dramas. Some people think of a story and the director directs it and producer gives the money and the actors, they act in it, and we get so mesmerized by it. We pay so much of money to watch these imaginary dramas. But the real pastimes that the Lord displays, the Lord comes and enacts in, that we have no interest in, and we call it mythology. This is all mythological stories. Mythology means made up, fictional stories. But that's not mythology. This is fiction. That is a fact. Whatever Krishna does, it's a fact. That's what Prabhupada said. The factual activities of the Lord, such as Lord Krishna's acting in the battle of Kurukshetra, or the activities of the Pandavas, or the Lord's activities in Vrindavan or Dwarka, are related in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which are full of the activities of the Lord. But materialistic persons who engage in elevating the position in the material world are not interested in such activities of the Lord. They may be interested in the activities of a great politician or a great rich man of this world, but they're not interested in the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. That's why it's very rare if somebody comes on the path of bhakti. And it is more rare if he sticks on the path of bhakti, if he doesn't leave. It's very rare. See, I mean, in movies, what happened? There is fighting, there is emotion, drama, action, and whatever, girl and boy meeting, singing around the trees, and romantic songs, and all these dramas, all these action, all these acting and stories, everything is there in the original spiritual world. And Krishna or Lord Ram, they enact all these things in their pastimes. But if we if we hear about Krishna's pastimes, we get elevated, we get purified. If we listen to the same, not the pastimes, but the imaginary stories in the movies, we get entangled. That's the difference. If we want to see politics, I mean, politics is there ever, forever in India or in other parts of the world. But can somebody imagine the kind of politics that happened in Mahabharata? No. That is the topmost politics. If you want to see action, okay, how about the fight between Ram and Ravan, and the Hanumanji and the Lakshmanji and all the other asuras, rakshasas? That's the real action. Whatever action we see in the movies is just a drama. Nobody's losing their lives. And there people were dying, really dying. They were not acting. They were really dying. And the real action in Mahabharata, the battle of Mahabharata, people really died over there. Arjuna was shooting the real arrows. Bhima's club was really breaking the bones of the enemies. They were not acting. That is real action if somebody wants to see action. Similarly, the romance, look at Krishna's romance. Nobody can defeat him. Nobody. But that's what it is. We want to see, we are hankering for the real thing, but we get sidetracked by these imaginary plots and imaginary things, and we think we are getting enjoyed. There's no enjoyment. It's just they're making a fool of us. Text 19. Nunam davin abhigata ye chachit katha sudam hitva shranvanti asadgatha purisham ev vidupujaha. Such persons are condemned by the supreme order of the Lord because they are averse to the nectar, the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are compared to stool-eating hogs. They give up hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord and indulge in hearing of the abominable activities of the materialistic persons. Everyone is addicted to hearing of the activities of another person, whether a politician or a rich man or an imaginary character whose activities are created in a novel. There are so many nonsensical literatures, stories, and books of speculative philosophy. Materialistic persons are very interested in reading such literature, but when they are presented with genuine books of knowledge, like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Puran, or other scriptures of the world, such as the Bible and Quran, they are not interested. These persons are condemned by the supreme order as much as a hog is condemned. The hog is interested in eating stool. If the hog is offered some nice preparation made of condensed milk or ghee, he won't like it. He would prefer obnoxious, bad-smelling stool, which he finds very relishable. Materialistic persons are considered condemned because they are interested in hellish activities and not in transcendental activities. The message of the Lord's activities is nectar, and besides that message, any information in which we may be interested is actually hellish. So the message of the Lord's activity is nectar, Amrit. And Amrit, what does it do? It makes us immortal if we get attached to hearing it. And if we just taste it once, it can make us immortal, means it can transfer us to the spiritual world. But people are not at all interested. They are only interested in the fictional characters, imaginary characters, or a politician or a rich man. Who could be richer than Krishna? Nobody. Who could be a better politician than Krishna? Nobody. Of course, Krishna, when he does politics also, that's madhur, that is sweet. And at the same time, it's uplifting us, whether we are on the receiving end of that politics, or whether it's Krishna is helping us, favoring us. Either way, the person gets benefited. But people are not interested in this because they're so much covered over by Maya. They've forgotten their real position. Talk about politics. If we pick up any story of Mahabharata, we'll see how much politics is there. And Mahabharata is specifically for people of Kali Yuga, because they cannot relate to Ramayana. Ramayana is too ideal for them. So Mahabharata is something they relate to. And Krishna is Krishna. He is bent at three places, so what he's going to do? Everything he does is crooked. Nothing is straight, whatever he does. Of course, for devotees, he's always favorable. He always protects his devotees. So the whole Mahabharata, if you look at, but if we look at from devotional angle, we'll see how Krishna is protecting his devotees. But still, he's playing his games. Text 20. Dakshinena patharyamna pitrilokam vrajantite prajamana prajayante shamshananta kriya krita. Such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the planet called Pitriloka by the southern course of the sun. But they again come back to this planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitive activities from birth to the end of life. In the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, verse 21, it is stated that such persons are elevated to the higher planetary systems. As soon as their lifetimes of fruitive activity are finished, they return to this planet, and thus they go up and come down. Those who are elevated to the higher planets again come back into the same family for which they had too much attachment. They are born and the fruitive activities continue again until the end of life. There are different prescribed rituals from birth until the end of life, and they're very much attached to such activities. So this is the life of a karmkandiya person, materialistic person. So they go up or down and then come back again to earth because they're so much attached to this family life. And then do the same activities all over again and again. Punna punaschara charanam. Trying to enjoy chewing the chewed again and again. So this is all that family life is. Without even trying to understand who am I, who is Krishna. Text 21. Tataste kshena sukritaha punarlokam imam sati patanti vivisha deva sadhyo vibranchito daya. When the results of the pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to a high position sometimes all of a sudden falls. It is sometimes found that a person elevated to a very high position in government service falls down all of a sudden, and no one can check him. Similarly, after finishing the period of enjoyment, foolish persons who are very much interested in being elevated to the position of president in higher planets also fall down to this planet. The distinction between the elevated position of a devotee and that of an ordinary person attracted to fruitive activities is that when a devotee is elevated to the spiritual kingdom, he never falls down, whereas an ordinary person falls even if he is elevated to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka. It is confirmed in Brahma Gita, Brahmavana Loka, that even if one is elevated to a higher planet, he has to come down again. But Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Mam upetitu konte punarjanma na vindhyate. Anyone who attains my abode never comes back to this conditioned life of material existence. So in material life, material world, any position is temporary and one can fall down. Even in a government service, government position, one can fall down. Even if somebody goes to the position of being a prime minister or president of a country, there can be a military coup next time, or there can be a rival political party and he can lose the elections. And then he's just an ordinary man, he's a nobody. So in material world, anybody can fall down. But in spiritual world, if somebody is elevated to the spiritual kingdom, he will never fall down, never come back. That's the advantage. So even if somebody is elevated to Brahmaloka, he can still fall down. He can still come down. Tasmatvam sarva bhavena bhajasva parameshtinam tadguna shreya bhaktya bhajaniya padambujam. My dear mother, I therefore advise you that you take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for his lotus feet are worth worshipping. Accept this with all devotion and love, for thus you can be situated in transcendental devotional service. So here Lord Kapil Dev is changing the theme. I think we can do it tomorrow. But so far the theme was that any material activity that we do in the material world, it will not have permanent results, and any position that we might attain, it can be taken away. If not in this lifetime, next lifetime, it will be taken away. So why work so hard and go through so much of trouble to attain something which is temporary? It doesn't make sense actually. Or if we are traveling in a train, going from point A to point B, and we get so attached to the seat that we make it very comfortable and very cushy and very, we might arrange for an AC and a refrigerator and some nice cushy pillows and this and that. But we are going to leave it at the station B. We have to leave it. So material world is like that. We are going from point A to point B only. But in the process, we work so hard to make our material life so cushy, so comfortable, that we forget about the spiritual life. That's where the whole problem is. If we make a balance between the two lives, that is the best thing to do. Best thing. So more than the balance, if we give more attention to spiritual life, if we can afford, or if we are elevated to that level, that's even better. That is even better, because Krishna will take care of the material life anyway. But it depends upon the faith, it depends upon the surrender. So let it grow gradually, slowly, organically. But meanwhile, let's try to make a balance between the two lives. And then the life is perfect. So anyway, we'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Today we had the yoga class by Mausmi Mataji. Thank you very much for arranging.
How did it go?
Yeah, it was very good. Our bodies are paining now.
Oh, she did that much?
No, we just did breathing only. But because we don't do it for so many days, we are feeling uncomfortable. I am feeling back pain after doing
Yeah, 1 or 2 days it will be like that, but then you'll get used to it. So how many students were there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to.
Well, you are expert in this, so how many students were there?
I could not check, but it should be between 7 to 10.
7. It was 7.
7? Okay, that's good. So you're going to do it every day, or what's the plan?
Yeah, it's like I can manage twice or thrice in a day. Sorry, twice or thrice in a week.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
So Sunday we are planning from early because half an hour we can't really do anything. I mean, we did today only 2 types of breathing. That's it.
Okay, you all decide whoever. I mean, it's between you and your students.
No. I myself is a student, Prabhuji.
Come on, I've seen your yogic postures. I can't even imagine of doing this.
That is like from my, I would say, from my grandparents it has come because my